Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our CIPD Open Day webinar. We're thrilled to have you here as we delve into the exciting and transformative world of human resources. So today we'll take you through some of our most popular, short and specialized CIPD courses tailored to equip you with the necessary skills and knowledge to excel in your HR career. So first of all, before we start, I wanted to make sure that everyone can hear me and we can make an interactive webinar and presentation to make sure that we'll get as many information as possible, especially to help you with your career growth. Amazing. Thank you so much, Nora. Thank you, Adel. And welcome everyone once again. As most of you know, Leoron Institute is exclusive provider with CIPD for delivering our short specialized CIPD programs. And today, as part of our team, we have the client experience manager from CIPD MENA, Eleni. Eleni, welcome. And on the other side, we have our CIPD project managers. Hi, Eleni. We have our CIPD project managers for the specialized courses who will be able to answer all your questions and answers for the HR programs. Eleni, we would love to hear from you. Who is CIPD, what CIPD is doing, how CIPD helps the HR professionals to grow in their career, and how we can support them further.
Great. Thank you so much, Mariana, for the introduction, and thank you for everybody who is joining. Just some housekeeping remarks. You probably can see that you cannot unmute your microphone, so we encourage you to use the Q&A or the chat option. I don't know which one appears for you. We want you to interact with us as much as possible, to ask questions. We really want to hear from you. How are you learning? How are you upskilling your teams, or if you are not really doing anything at the moment? So I'm just going to share a presentation, and I want to introduce CIPD, who we are and what do we do very briefly. Some of you probably already know who we are and what do we do, but just to get everybody on the same page. So I'm going to start with a quick introduction about myself. My name is Eleni, and I have been with the CIPD in the Middle East team for the past 4 years. I work on the learning delivery programs, anything that is virtual or face-to-face for our in-house or public courses. And I also work with our associates, who are the trainers that provide these programs. So I'm just going to load my presentation. Just give me a minute. And we can start. In the meantime, can you drop something in the Q&A or the chat box, just so we know that you have access to it? I don't have visibility over it, but maybe Mariana can just confirm if she's seeing some activity.
I can only see in chat, however, not in questions and answers section.
But you can see some activity in the chat, yeah?
Okay, great. Yes, they have access. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we encourage you to use it as much as possible, and ask your questions. So I'm just starting very quickly with who we are. You can see my presentation, yes? Everybody can see? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yes, they can all see it.
Perfect. Okay, so CIPD is the Chartered Institute for Personnel and Development. Some of you might know, some of you might not. We are a over 120-year-old organization, and we are registered as a royal charity under the late Queen of United Kingdom. Our purpose until today, from the very start, is to champion better work and working lives. And what does this mean is to make sure that we equip both employers and employees to be the best at what they do, whether those are HR professionals, L&D professionals, anybody that works in the people professional field. Our values are to be customer first, collaborative, experts, impactful, and innovative. And in the next few slides, I'm just going to showcase how we do that. So in a nutshell, this is who we are, and this is how we are represented globally. Of course, our biggest membership base is in the United Kingdom and Europe. We have offices in the Middle East and Singapore that work on the Middle East, North Africa, and South Pacific, Asia Pacific region. In the Middle East, we have been for about just over 8 years. Our office has been servicing the regions of the Levant area and the GCC area and some parts of North Africa. We have worldwide, this number is not very accurate, it's now over 160,000 members globally. So this includes, like I said, HR, L&D, and OD professionals. We've been existing for quite some time, and the main purpose for what we are trying to do is build best practices and really showcase what does good HR look and how do you implement it. So one of the recent things that we have published, and this goes back to our mission and what our values are. This is part of us being innovative and impactful. The People Professions Survey, which is an international survey report, spanned across countries in Europe, in Middle East and North Africa, Canada, and some parts of Australia, was covering what pretty much are the main challenges that HR professionals are struggling around the region. And it all goes back to our learning products that we're offering. So we wanted to ensure that we are impactful in the way we are delivering our learning programs and the titles that we're offering. So some of the main challenges in the Middle East that came out, I'm just going to briefly mention them to you. I don't want you to go too much into details, but if you want to see the full report, you can access it on our CIPD website. So some of the main challenges that were displayed for the Middle East region are adapting to change. So change management was a very, very key topic. Organizational design and development, recruitment and selection, and making sure that the right talent stays within the organization. Creating employee engagement and upping the employee value proposition were some of the topics that were really pressing for the region. And I think it really makes sense after COVID. A lot of organizations were asked to adapt, and the employees within were also asked to adapt to the changes. So if you want to see an executive summary or the full report, you can access it in our website. This is another report which has been in the making for the past few years, and it's been updated regularly. The last update was in November 2020, and the next update is to follow by the end of this year. This is the People Profession report, which is a collective report looking more into globally, or should I say glocalization, and how do you make an organization localizable. So global with a local aspect and with a local operating model. Again, this is a report you can access on the website. I don't want to go too much into details about that. Another, I guess, key tool that we have in the CIPD is the profession map. Most HR professionals are familiar with it, whether they're members or not. The profession map is something that was designed first in 2012, and it is available for public use. So whether you're a member or not a member, you can use that. The profession map sets out the international standards for people professionals, and it's showing how you can make a greater impact within your team, within your organization, and for yourself. You can see that there's different levels of the profession map, which is replicated in our membership level. So either chartered fellow, which is the highest membership within the CIPD, a chartered member, or an associate member. So basically the associate member or that level is for people who are entering the job or maybe have 3 to 5 years of experience. The chartered member is somebody who is in their mid-level career, and the people who are fellow are the people who are seniors or at strategic roles within their organizations. So if you want to evaluate yourself, you can go on the profession map. Again, you can find it on our website. you can go on the profession map and you can assess yourself and see what are the areas that perhaps you can look into developing further. This is what it looks like in a nutshell. It's an interactive tool. So when you go on the website, you can click on the different levels and it's going to expand into something further. And going to the core of what this webinar is about, our CIPD learning. Our CIPD learning has many different, forms, but the one that we would like to share more information about today is our short courses. Those can be delivered either face-to-face or live virtual, or they can be combined with some digital experience, which are assignments in between sessions. Our communities are supporting our CIPD learning, and we have various initiatives supporting the learnings. Now, there are various topics, and perhaps we would like to hear from you. What would be some of the topics you would like to hear more about. What is currently pressing in your organization? Is it more recruitment and talent management that is of interest, or organizational design and development? These short courses are 2 to 3 days, depending on the different titles, and they are very deep dive into a particular topic. So organizational design, for example, is a course that would look into how do you structure the design, and how do you evaluate, and how do you enforce that design, and what are the steps that you need to follow to ensure that the design that you have selected for your current organization is suitable for what you're trying to achieve. So those are really deep dive. They're very practical. We focus on making sure that when you walk out from these short courses, you have something tangible, something you can apply directly to your organization or your team. And they're very interactive. So one of the things we have been enforcing is really having a lot of face time with the trainer. The trainers delivering those courses are practitioners with more than 15 years of experience in the region. This is another thing I would like to outline, that the people who are delivering these programs, the trainers, are people who have actual experience in the Middle East and North Africa. We want to make sure that what we share is, again, something very practical and something you can apply. So now it's cue to ask you, if you can drop in the Q&A or the chat box, are you currently involved in any courses, maybe online, maybe you're using some of the free tools available on the web, maybe you have an academy within your organization that has a range of different programs. So can you just share with us in the chat, how are you currently learning? Or maybe what are you doing to upskill yourself as a professional? I don't have access to the chat, but maybe Mariana, if she can see some responses, she can just jump in to add to that. So going back to the titles that we offer, the portfolio of courses we have is more than 100 different courses, and those pretty much change based on what the demand currently is on the market. So we have pretty much anything from, I would say, succession planning and strategic workforce planning to UAE Labour Law, KSA Labour Law. So anything really that would fall within the remit of an HR or L&D professional is covered. And just I wanted to see, Mariana, do we have anyone dropping anything in the chat?
Yes, we have Husam, who is taking live virtual learning CIPD programs. Then we have Raymond, who is asking if we have any available sessions in Eastern Province. At the moment, all of the short courses are live virtual, and then Riyadh and Dubai as location for face-to-face programs. However, very soon we're opening one in Khobar, so we will be sending updates to you.
And another question I have, how do you prefer to learn? Face-to-face, virtual, self-directed? If you can let us know. This is something that I know has evolved a lot after COVID. Our short courses have evolved a lot after COVID. Before that, we used to offer them only face-to-face. And afterwards, we had to really adapt quickly. I can see that, especially in Saudi Arabia, I guess we have a few members who are joining from Saudi. In Saudi Arabia, we have a lot of interest in face-to-face delivery. So, okay, I can see some responses, face-to-face, self-directed. Okay, face-off. It's very interesting. Self-directed is actually one of the types of learning that we have tried, and it has not been very successful because people saying that they want to interact with people from the group. This is one of the methods of how we are I guess we are not enforcing, but how we are embracing our learning methodology is through learning from one another and learning from our experiences. This is why I have put communities here. And you might argue, why is this part of our CIPD learning? But when you're attending a course, whether it's public or in-house, you are creating automatically a small community of the people who have attended. So you will not be just learning from the trainer and the content that is provided to you, but you're learning from one another. This is something that we believe a lot in CIPD, and our learning methodology is really based on, like I said, practicality. We don't want to give you a to-do list or a sheet with tick boxes where you can have the do's and don'ts. We want to make sure that you understand what good practice is and how do you implement it back within your organization. So just to follow up on some of the titles that we have in the meantime. So Mariana, if you see any questions in the chat box, please feel free to cut me off at any point in time. Because we would like to engage
responding. Yeah, I am responding. Most of the questions are related where we have the face-to-face classes regarding the location. So even later after the webinar, we'll share the full schedule, the official one.
Perfect. Okay, so another area I wanted to speak about is learning and development. We do have quite a few courses offered on learning and development, and workplace learning continues to evolve, bringing along not just challenges and opportunities, but also the need for L&D to constantly develop their skills to meet the demand of its people. So we have course on L&D as a business partner, which is something similar to HR as a HRBP. Let's say, do you have L&D business partners within your organization? I'm very curious to know. The effective business partner, of course, needs to understand what the business problem is and to understand what the stakeholders are and how to manage these stakeholders. So our L&D as a business partner short course, for example, is using a very holistic approach. It's a 2-day course. Again, very deep dive into the topic that would boost the knowledge and the credibility of the business partner and let you understand how and what type of learning and what type of environment you need to create for the people in order to enable them, to upskill them to meet the business needs and the business challenges. So if you go on either of the websites, either Leoron's website or CIPD website, on the short courses, you can see the different range of titles that we offer. But can you let me know, for example, what are some of the short courses that you would be interested to attend? What are some of the business needs that you're currently having? So I can perhaps give you a little bit more of an understanding about what these courses would cover. OD, so organizational design or organizational development, which one? Okay, organizational development. This is definite HRBP and development. Okay. This is a course actually that we have been, wow, a lot of interest in organizational development. It's a course that we have been offering a lot, actually, especially in Saudi Arabia. So this course covers, it's a 3-day course, and it can be delivered face-to-face or virtual, again, depending on the schedule, and the team can probably share more information with you, what we have coming up. There is a course coming up on OD&D, so Organizational Design and Development, that is coming up virtually in Saudi Arabia. I believe is the 20th and the 22nd. So the course key learning outcomes are pretty much to define what organizational design and development is and what is the difference between both. This is something that we have encountered a lot in this region, that people kind of put both of them together and they don't really separate. So creating strategies for both is quite key. So the other thing that the course focuses on is the technologies that are needed in order to create a sustainable design and development strategy within your organization. We try to incorporate as many of the best practices that you would find in the region. And we want to let you understand how to use different systems in order to support your basically buy-in of your stakeholders within the organization. So then, because I said the course is together covering both the design and the development, you would be covering the thinking process of what that would look like within your team. And by the end of the course, you should have developed a strategy of stop, start, and continue, and also some action plans based on your personal objectives of what you would like to achieve in the course. So before attending any course, it's very key to come with your personal objectives of what are you currently facing, why are you attending this course, and what are you trying to achieve. If you have something that you're currently facing within your organization or your team, or you just as an HR professional, and you come with that objective to the course, you can pretty much use the time with the trainer to kind of scratch their mind and just to understand better from their consulting point of view what would be the best way forward to approach it. This is part of making the course more practical and more engaging. I saw there is another question about HR business partnering. So the course is a 3-day course. We don't have one scheduled until probably September, October. So the course can take, again, place both face-to-face and virtually. Some of the key learning outcomes that are covered in this course is to look at some of the trends of future of work and what they are, understanding the 4 foundations of business savvy, understanding and identifying the role of HR business partner within the organization. Again, we have a very heavy focus on technology and data. We want to make sure that you are led by actual evidence. So when you are presenting anything to your stakeholders, it is based on actual research and evidence, and it's not just based on theories. Then you're going to basically learn how to, I would say, speak the language of business, which means, translated in simple words, is how do you get the buy-in of your senior stakeholders and how do you translate that down to your team members. I've always found the role of the HR business partner a very exciting role. It's always kind of sitting in between your senior leadership team, your different directorates, and the mid-management. And this role is quite key because you need to be able to really translate the strategy and be a good business partner, not just for your senior leadership team, but also for your mid-level managers and the people who would be executing the strategy that the business has set. This course also is touching a little bit on coaching and mentoring approach. So it's not going deep dive into coaching and mentoring. It's we have another course that is just coaching and mentoring. But why are we doing that? Because one of the main, I would say, initiatives that businesses have adopted in the region is to have internal, whether official or non-official, coaching and mentoring programs. So they want to make sure that, again, knowledge is shared and is cascaded down, and also reverse mentoring is applied in order to make sure that the strategies that are set for the business are right and the direction is right and people are on board and they understand what this means for them in the foreseeable future. Also, the wrap up for the program is focusing on how to become a credible, trusted advisor for your organization. So I guess this is a role that really involves a lot of not just HR understanding, but also business understanding. And it's really going to bring you and give you the tools to maximize your influence and impact on the business. So I didn't see if there's any other titles. There's also organizational development and HR business partner, but I didn't see if there's any other titles that people are interested to learn more about.
Yeah, I've actually asked the question in Q&A. I wanted to know if the HR professionals are actually considering the OD role for their career development and growth. So, because most of them answered that they would be interested in OD. So we want to know what's the trend. Is this something that is required from, let's say, most of the companies, if they have job openings on OD, or simply personal interest? So if we can get this feedback from you, would be highly appreciated. Have you received the question in Q&A section?
Me, I haven't.
Okay, yes, you can answer actually in chat. That would be fine. Thank you, Sultan. How about the rest? So, Sultan, this is mainly personal interest for you. What about Zakaria, Sally, and of course the rest?
I want to ask a question actually. How many of you have attended, if any of you have attended a CIPD course? Have you attended or no? Or maybe some of you are members, so you have taken the qualifications perhaps? So neither, okay, Faisal, neither a member nor have attended a course, okay. So just to clarify, this is a webinar, which is not, this is not a short course. So this is what we call an open day, which is pretty much, yes, come to us and ask any questions that you want to know about our learning products, particularly focusing on our short courses. So I can see some people have taken the qualification, yeah, level 5, level 3. So definitely, I would say one of, yeah, go ahead, Mariana.
Sorry for interrupting. Just maybe would be good if you can explain the difference for the short specialized courses and the qualifications, how they can get these benefits would be really interesting, because we do get a lot of questions when we speak with our clients, and they are willing to learn more about the difference and then make a decision maybe later on what program would help them.
Yes. I just see one. Okay, I couldn't see the last question, but maybe Mariana, you can just tell me afterwards what is it. So the difference, major difference between qualifications and short courses. The qualifications, they're full-fledged diplomas, as some of you know. Those take anywhere between 7 months to 2 years to complete, depending on the different level. And they would make you a qualified certified HR professional, and member of the CIPD if you choose to be a member. The qualifications are looking at different modules, so they're pretty much, you can think about a bachelor diploma or a master's diploma in a university, and this is quite a good equivalent of what the qualifications look like. So they're very extensive in the time, and quite a different price point as well. The short courses are very short and very practical. So like I said, anywhere between 2 days to 3 days. We want to make sure that in the short courses, what you have is practical knowledge on what is currently happening. So the qualification would give you the theoretical knowledge, for example, of what organizational development means and how it's implemented and what does it mean to be a good OD professional. The short course is going to tell you what is currently happening in that space, what are some of the pitfalls or some of the best practices that you should look? What are some of the new trends, the new technologies, or the new things to look out for? I'm not sure if this makes sense, but I think this is the simplest way of distinguishing what the short courses are in comparison to our qualifications. The short courses, in the end, you would receive a CIPD certificate of attendance, and you don't have any CPD credits to it for now. We are working in the process of exploring if this is something that would be interesting for people to have CPD credits against the different short courses they're attending. So again, the short courses are very, I guess, constrained in time, and you are pretty much, once you leave, you have a follow-up. You can have a follow-up with the trainer for about 2 to 3 weeks. If you have any questions, we want to make sure in the short courses that you really walk out with some practical solutions to your current problems. So we're looking at what you're currently facing in your role or what you would like to know. I saw some questions, Mariana, but I couldn't see the full question. So maybe if you can just let me know.
It's not really related to the CIPD short courses. It is related to designing a full training schedule. So I just wanted to know, Mr. Al-Rubayan, is this related to all competences, or this is related only to the HR? All, okay. Because we will be scheduling additional call or meeting to make sure that someone communicates with you from our project managers and assess the needs, discuss the solutions, and then we will be able to share more information about the schedule for your organization. And of course, we will include anything that is also related to the CIPD short courses. Thank you.
Great. So is there any?
Maybe,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
maybe it would be also good to share with us, since you have the short courses in the MENA region for a long time, what were the hottest topics, I mean, for HR professionals in MENA region that were taken as part of the short, where is the highest interest? For which courses?
So I guess it's really seasonal. It's changing in pretty much every I guess quarter we have something different. Some of the topics, like I said earlier, because this is something that we have drawn from our research, is the talent management and recruitment, interviewing skills. So finding and identifying what is the talent that is needed within the organization. These are kind of the hot topics that we have been hearing about and people have been asking. So, for example, the recruitment course is the recruitment and talent management course has a very unique part to it, which is focusing only on interviewing skills. So there is a role-playing part to it where you would have a chance to, in groups, work together, and somebody is going to be the interviewers, the interviewing panel, and the other candidates is going to be the candidate applying for that job. So this course is really looking into how do you identify what your talent need is currently in the organization? How do you find that talent? And how do you make sure that this person is really going to give it 100% to your organization? The talent management course, it's a 3-day course. It's definitely slightly different. It's following the recruitment process and interviewing. How do you manage the talent? How do you make sure that they are engaged in the organization, that they are they have interest in pursuing a career and creating a succession plan for themselves? So the talent management strategy course, it defines the drivers and makes a very clear business case for what talent management is. Again, it's looking into some techniques and tools to making sure that the people are onboarded correctly, they're treated fairly, and have been given everything that is needed for them to be successful at their job. It is looking at developing as well some leadership skills. So there's something else that we've been hearing is how to include the people or the line managers to the HR and L&D and OD discussions. So those are people who not necessarily are part of the HR team, but they work with professionals. And that the line managers that are overseeing different departments or different teams. So we have always a focus on creating leadership presence, I would say, within every course. So how do you ultimately become a leadership role or a leadership driver for your team or for your organization? Another topic that has been really interesting for us is succession planning. This is something that is looked at during the talent management, obviously, course, but it exists as a course on its own. And it's a one-day course. It's a I would say a master class. It's really looking into how to create a successful succession planning strategy within your organization. Now we can see, I would say, if we have some people joining from UAE, I see some people are joining from Saudi, but definitely there is some pressure for the talent market, especially from Saudi. Saudi is growing much and is expanding a lot faster. So making sure that you have a succession plan for the people within your team is becoming quite important. The people need to feel valued and people need to feel safe. So this is a course that is really looking as to how to create that space for your people and make sure that they're really 100% on board and making sure that they stay with you. I know in UAE, people and organizations have really been focusing on nationalization, and this is pretty much around GCC. But now there's really a focus on what we call it the third culture kids, which are expats pretty much who are coming to the region. So those are the people that are not GCC nationals or local nationals. Those are people coming from different countries. How do you make them feel safe? How do you make sure that they stay with you? So how do you make sure that if you invest in them today, this is going to pay off and they're not just going to leave after maybe a few months? So these are some of the hot topics that we've been hearing. There is a course around nationalization that we've been exploring. This is something in the making. So it will be interesting to hear how many of you have probably attended, or is this something of interest? So nationalization in the different countries around GCC. Is this something that sounds appealing to you? Are there any kind of concerns or any kind of areas that we can focus on to develop some content that can support? We are very agile. So the good thing is, and I think in this webinar, we really want to hear from you, what are some of the things you would like to hear about? Because as you know, CIPD, unlike other learning providers, we do not buy or borrow our content. Our content is created internally and it's based on research. We have quite an extensive team in the UK and here in the Middle East that is working on creating that content. So the content that you would see at a CIPD short course is not something you can find outside. It's not something you're going to find on a LinkedIn Learning or a Coursera course, for example. It's something very unique, and it is really designed and only used for our internal courses. So how about nationalization? Have you attended any short courses on nationalization, or is this a focus currently? This is part of many countries' vision. So is this something that perhaps would be of interest to you? I don't see any responses, but I'm hoping it's just me not seeing it.
Oh, probably no interest.
No interest. Okay, great. It's good to know. Okay. Well, Ryan thinks there is some some interest. Yes. So Tan, I'm just asking to understand if nationalization is still something within your HR team that is of high interest. When I say nationalization, let me narrow it down, or let me kind of just outline. We mean basically, how do you make sure that the right people again are put at the right in the right place, and how do you make sure that people have the necessary skills to join the workforce, and how do you introduce nationals to the organizational culture and organizational values? How do you align? So these are some of the things that we've been getting. Okay, great. So there's some appetite for that. It's really good to know, because we really want to bring some solutions to you that are of interest. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything at all, whether it's about the style of delivery or anything that you just want to ask or learn, doesn't have to be about CIPD. Maybe you want to ask something about Leoron. Please feel free to let us know. I could not see that last comment. It should be linked under. I saw, but I couldn't read it.
Ryan is saying that it should all be linked under the umbrella of talent management, in his opinion.
Well, this is a fair point, and I would say that this is something that is touched upon. However, because one of the things we've been trying to resolve in the past few months is really creating more shorter courses. We don't want to have 5-day course, because this means that your entire HR team or L&D team needs to be out of the office for that entire week. So this is touched definitely in the talent management course, both nationalization and succession planning. But we have taken succession planning out and created it as a one-day masterclass, which is only discussing succession planning. How do you create a plan for your organization, and what would that look like? The same thing for nationalization. It is touched in various courses. For example, in our labor law courses, you're also going to learn about nationalization and what are some of the new laws that are coming in place and how are they impacting organizations. But again, we want to take that out and turn it into something shorter and very practical. I'm seeing some questions, but I cannot see the full. Oh, actually, I can see the chat.
Can you see?
I am just trying to open the chat.
Abdullah is asking if we can give some examples of how we can improve more in talent management. And what is the best way then we have to keep talent? This is an interesting and valid point, because we have access to many clients. We discuss this is an ongoing issue, but especially after the pandemic, unfortunately. Maybe there are some good things, I would say, because this way companies would think to be more innovative and improve different things that maybe they wouldn't even they weren't considering before the pandemic. However, at the moment, to keep the best talent and to keep it in the long term, it's an interesting question, and there is not, I would say, a formula. for success. However, there are many benefits that have been offered to employees now to make sure that we are again, innovative organizations. So again, this is specific to every company. Assessments should be in place in order to get the results, how team can be motivated to retain on long term, because people not always leave for, let's say, more competitive salaries, but there are many other financial and non-financial benefits also that they consider within the organization. So many of even a reward management course that we have is focusing a lot also on this. And then the talent management strategies program that Eleni mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, it is covering this in detail. Then we have also, I have a question about recruiting in regards to education versus experience.
Education versus experience. Can you just elaborate on that point? I don't know who's asking the question, but if you can just elaborate what just to add to Mariana's point, pretty much, yes, I second everything she said. But one of the things, and you can see there's direct correlation between your EVP, so your employee value proposition, and your talent within the organization. So turnaround rate, people engagement, anything is really directed to what do you provide for your team. Sorry, Mariana, I cannot see the question. Can you tell me just if
yeah, we have another question. If we can what should we prioritize, when probably selecting the candidate? So again, that means depends on the company's culture and depends on what kind of position. There are companies, again, I will be talking related to different clients that we have and their best practices internationally and locally. For many positions, they don't require the experience. They require certain education because they want the talent to get their culture, to understand their culture. And technically, they don't want to have talent that is bringing culture from other organization. So it is, again, there is no straightforward formula where we can say this is the right answer. However, sometimes, yes, for certain positions, experiences required. So whenever you are having a recruitment campaign, this is a very valid point to understand if you're looking for someone that has the education, knows all the new practices, for example, at the moment, but you want this person to technically learn your culture and be part of that whole process. However, it is something that many HR professionals at the moment are discussing and faced with a lot of challenges when they bring a lot of experienced people and then they face with cultural, for example, challenges. Eleni, what do you think about this?
Yes, I agree to everything. And I just want to take you all a step back. If you have, I don't know if you have a team that you are interested in making sure that it's taken care of, or if it's about you, but you can go to the profession map. There is a particular competency on talent management. So if you go to the profession map, you can click on the core competencies. And there you can see, the core knowledge, not the core competence, the core knowledge. And there you can see around talent management some of the core knowledges that you need to have and what you need to display. So this would be a good starter to, whether it's for you or for your team, just to assess if those have been met, and if not, which ones probably you can focus on. This is a very good starting point.
We hope we answered your question, Sultan. Or maybe you have additional questions related to this. To go back to Osman, if can we add e-learning in the CIPD L&D course? We'll be very, very honest here and brief. We don't really believe, especially, I mean, for these practical courses, to have them as e-learning available options for, again, for professional development, because all CIPD programs and CIPD, of course, is enforcing this to have a lot of practical sessions to make sure that people apply these principles and practices during the course itself. So e-learning experience, yes, it has improved compared to before. However, not to the level where CIPD wants people to practice everything and then be ready to go back to their work and apply this. So at the moment, we are focusing only on live virtual sessions and face-to-face delivery.
I have just dropped in the chat a fact sheet which would give you some more context, and perhaps it would be helpful. It would take you through, again, the profession map. So you can have a look and just see if that would be something that is helpful. The good thing is that, I mean, these are areas that are constantly evolving, I would say daily. We can see this region is very dynamic and things are changing overnight. So the short courses try to stay up to date with what currently is pressing, and making sure that learning, one of the methodologies and one of the philosophies that we have at the CIPD is that in order for learning to be impactful, it has to be personal. And of course, when you're attending an in-house course, it's very easy because you have your team and it's about your organization and it's really tackling the things that the organization currently is facing. When you are attending a public course, which is you with, let's say, 10 other individuals that you don't know from different organizations, different backgrounds, different experience level, it becomes a bit difficult to make sure that your personal needs are taken care of. But this is something that we're focusing on a lot, regardless of the type of course we're delivering. So prior to attending any of the short courses, we encourage our attendees to, based on the learning objectives that are shared with them, to draw their personal objectives and to just to outline what are some of the challenges that you're currently struggling with. This way, you are able to speak with the trainer on the day, and you have either 2 or 3 days to discuss that and to use these kind of small, I would say, consulting sessions to make sure that what you're learning, you can take it and apply it and try to resolve or try to improve what you're currently facing. So.
Oh, sorry, yes. So you mean to develop technically a CIPD program for your organization? Is that correct, Osman? Because yes, Eleni has a team who is involved in assessing. Great. Eleni's team technically assess your needs of the organization, and based on that, we will be able to provide technical proposal, a curriculum for your organization that will be fully customized. And based on that, I mean, you can even own the IP rights if you want later on. However, Eleni will be able to connect you with the account management team to discuss this further. But yes, we do it for many companies in the MENA region.
Normally the in-house trainings, those are well, they can be bespoke, they can be off the shelf as well. We have, depending on what you need, we have a range of topics. They can be tailored as well if there's anything particular. Actually, currently we are delivering this week. We are delivering 2 different trainings for clients in UAE, and they're facing something very unique within their organization. So we are responding to that challenge. So if you perhaps just drop an email, I can drop my email here in the chat. So for anyone that wants to follow up, and we can pick up the discussion. Perfect. Are there any more questions? Any more curiosities that we can answer? I think people are very shy. Thank you, Faisal. Well, you're very engaged. For somebody who's multitasking, Sultan, you're very engaged. This is good. We hope we can make, I guess, answer a few questions, but also kind of help you understand how what we offer is different, and it's pretty much trying to tackle what currently HR professionals are facing in our region. And we are very particular to also the different countries. So like I said, UAE, Saudi, it's very different market, Bahrain, and the rest of the GCC, and then you have North Africa. So this is something we consider. So feel free to ask us anything. You have our time at your disposal.
I can see that most of them responded that they enjoyed the session and they're about to leave, but it was very informative and fruitful for them. So we're very happy to hear this feedback, and we hope you are more aware of the short programs that are developed by CIPD. It's very important to highlight that it's, Eleni said, they're not buying the content, but it is research-based. It's based on real data. So it is they're already helping a lot of professionals in the MENA region. And we're happy to partner with them and to bring this specialized programs in the region. So, of course, for any other questions that you might have, I will also leave my email. Thank you, Ibrahim. So you can contact us anytime.
I think we can share maybe next year we are bringing a conference in Saudi together, and we would have something very similar, focusing again on our solutions, not the qualifications, but our different solutions, so masterclasses, short courses, and we would be very glad for you to join us.
We'll share more details on their email addresses and hope to see all of them in Riyadh. Always welcome. Thank you, Eleni, also for your time, and thank you everyone for joining the session and for also making it interactive. We're happy to see that there is an interest for growth again, for professional development, and we're happy to support that. Eleni, thank you once again for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Mariana. Thanks, everyone.
Wishing you a lovely day.